You sound garbled.
Hold on. Emma was playing with this thing and she might have put on like a robot voice.
That might be it.
Wait, do I sound like a male now?
Oh my god. Wait, we'll finally get
Female.
views, Kate.
Robot? Okay, do I sound like a robot now?
Kate, you be the blue. You be the blue. And
This is the baby, so we can do like those baby memes.
Can you, does it sound better at all now?
No, it sounds better, yeah. I don't understand why you can't just connect your mic to your computer like I do.
I can, but apparently it sounds better from this XLR. Okay, let me
Rebrand.
pull up my note.
As I stare at Madison Cawthorn's freaking arrest photo.
He got arrested?
No, I think this is old.
Damn it. First of all, you're looking amazing, and but I thought you were like on death's door for the past 5 days, but you're looking so
No,
great.
It's been 10. I have heard from so many of not only my friends, but acquaintances and internet followers that they are experiencing similar things, which is I got a super, super heavy period, which then made me anemic. And
Because you lost so much blood.
I lost so much blood. And so my blood pressure was so high, heart was pounding, I was so dizzy and confused, I had splitting headaches, and like it was at the level where I should be concerned, but none of my doctors seemed particularly concerned. It took 5 days to get a blood test, and then the blood test was like, bitch has no iron. I am feeling better now. I mean, I in the interim have been taking like iron pills, and so I have been recovering, and so I'm doing a lot better now. My blood pressure is normal now. But ugh.
So you don't even know, so you haven't even gotten any answers on like the whole massive bleeding period yet. It was just like, oh, let's get your heart back to beating at a normal pace.
I've been waiting for my gyno appointment for 3 months. So
I think like that's what people don't understand. Like it takes a while to get into the gyno, and we both live in big cities.
right. Yeah. People are like, why don't you get an answer immediately? It's like, guys, I'm not magic. I don't know what I'm on a wait list.
Like unless you're dying in America, you cannot see a doctor until like 3 to 4 months at the earliest.
Right. So,
And even if you're dying, who knows?
luckily,
It's like ER roulette.
I mean, I've gone to the ER dying more than once and gotten not much of anything. But my all-time favorite ER story is that when I went to the ER because I had a gallstone, which I know is a fact because I eventually got my gallbladder taken out and I was hospitalized for 9 days because of it. My first ER visit, they were like, you have a UTI. And I was like, I feel that there's like a 10-inch span between where you're saying the problem is and where I'm telling you the problem is. I was like, I think something much worse is happening. And I had to
I
had to leave and come back to get a lady doctor.
Yeah, I was going to ask if that was a female or
No, of course.
male.
It was a young male doctor.
Yeah. And not one of the ones from the pit, because they would have not dismissed you.
No, they wouldn't have. I haven't seen season 2 yet.
Oh my God. It's so good. I loved that show. That is the only show. I've had a hard time like locking into shows lately because my like attention span is just so effed.
Has your attention span been killed by social media or your children?
Both, but honestly, probably more so social media.
Yeah. You're not particularly ADHD.
What do you mean?
Your inherent personality is you can focus on things.
Well, I can focus on things that I care about. You know what I mean? So switching over to this work, and I've like learned that about ADHD, like it's like we struggle to take action when it's something we don't care about, which has been kind of my whole career up until this point.
That's also human nature. Like I don't feel like that's necessarily pathologized. Like, yeah, no, we all have problems doing things we don't want to do. That is.
But then I get down these hyper focused tunnels, which is sometimes good with this kind of work, but also like, I mean, I will be looking at campaign finance reports at 2 a.m. and it's like, okay, you need to stop.
I am like, I have whatever the opposite of ADHD is. I'm just like, I don't do any of that. I just can focus and it's fine. And I neither go down rabbit holes nor get distracted. Just like
what a dream.
My mind is very silent. I got in a very extensive discussion because people always think I'm high stress. And I'm like, no, I have a clinical disorder that I can't take even a normal amount of stress. But I am not a high stress person. Actually, what is going on inside my brain is virtually nothing at all times.
Yeah, I feel like mental health wise, you are kind of the gold star. Like you don't really have mental health problems.
I don't really have mental health. That is true. I mean,
how is your brain
problems? I have health problems.
I know, but like your brain is pretty good.
Yeah, no, my brain is pretty good. I'm pretty solid. I'm very mindful. And I also don't perseverate or have anxiety over things. So I don't like constantly go over things in my head. I was trying to explain my mindfulness this weekend, and I was like, I have to, in the same way when you have a conversation, you are actively choosing to push words out of your mouth. That is what I have to do to think things. Like I have to actively think things. Otherwise, up there is just sort of, I don't know, singing a song or something.
Yeah. I do feel like we're in a time where people everybody has to think before they speak. That's like literally how it works. But people are just so obsessed with getting the words out so quickly and just kind of like re-repeating things they've heard or said before, and they're not actually thinking before they're talking.
So I will say like one of my biggest pet peeves in life, and this is a sidestep, and we have an agenda of things we want to discuss.
We do. The
premise of this podcast is recording the conversations Kate and I get on the phone, and that we have a problem, which is we get on the phone and it's never under an hour. And I think that the fact that we can't get into our agenda is proof positive of this.
I know. I might have to cut some of this down.
But I just want to say, like, one of my biggest pet peeves in life is when you're having a conversation with someone, and I would say, like, the prototypical person is a boomer man, and they are clearly not listening to you. They are merely thinking of what they are going to say next. And you're like, why am I even here? You know what I mean? Like, do you just want to lecture me? Why am I even talking? You're not listening to anything I'm saying. And then you're also not responding to what I'm saying. Like, this conversation isn't intellectually engaging for me. I want to have a conversation. I want to have a meeting of two minds. You know what I mean? And like, I can talk. I don't want to talk excessively. I want to have a conversation between two people.
We've lost the art of listening for sure. I mean, what did you say?
Comedic effect, or you just not responding?
No, I'm just agreeing with you. It's like we don't just listen or pause, or people are so afraid of like dead noise too, or any type of silence.
Yeah.
That it's like everybody's just in such a hurry all the time. Anyways,
talking about people who have too much to say, Graham Plattner.
We haven't yapped about this yet, so I'm excited to do it right now.
We've been avoiding it. And by me, I mean Mimi. I've been avoiding it.
Oh, you have been avoiding it?
I have been avoiding it because, Graham Plattner is about to win the Democratic primary for the Maine Senate seat. And the Republican candidate in that is Susan Collins, who is a quote unquote moderate Republican. She, most saliently, in my opinion, voted for Brett Kavanaugh to confirm Brett Kavanaugh on the Supreme Court. She claims to be pro-choice, but continually does things that are anti-choice. And she's like a big thoughts and prayers type of lady. And Democrats in Maine have been continually trying to unseat her for years and years and years, unsuccessfully. Maine is an anachronistic, independent-minded state. It's has a much older populace than most other states. It's very white. It's not like the same puzzle piece as every other state, and Democrats have struggled to find a candidate who can win.
Well, and the other senator is an independent. That's Agnes King, right?
And like Jared Golden, who is a very, very moderate Democrat, who notoriously changed his opinion on gun reform, right? Like, Maine continually elects people who are very, very, I would say even centrist, not just moderate. And they don't really like partisan hacks historically. Graham Plattner he's a veteran. He owns and runs an oyster farm currently. And he was like cherry-picked, headhunted by Morris Katz, who's a campaign strategist, comms guy, who was the architect of the comm strategy behind Zohran Mamdani's campaign, but has been doing a number of campaigns across the country. He's not necessarily ideologically affiliated, though people sort of associate him with Mamdani's ideology. He's not really. He's more about winning elections with a populist rhetoric. And Graham Plattner is like a bearded, gruff-speaking guy with infinite confidence. He's never held public office, seemingly never shown interest in politics before, and literally just plugged into running for Senate in 2 weeks, and is preternaturally talented at communicating with people. He has a platform that people really like, right? Like, he has a very, very progressive platform that's populist, focused on the working class, and he was able to sort of energize people versus Janet Mills, the sitting governor, who was the institutional Democratic candidate. And people, she's very old, she's unexciting, and she was not really able to win in a race that required having a personality.
Yeah, she did a fine job governing, right? And was a safe person that protected rights and the things that we expect Democrats to do. But yeah, in a re-election campaign in this environment, wasn't going to happen. And Graham Plattner, I mean, I think people are so drawn to him because he speaks like a real human, and he is like smart and charismatic and different, and he says things that make viral clips. So he grew his internet presence pretty quickly, and he can speak off the cuff and in longer form conversations, and it seemingly say
angry.
Things. Yeah.
And he wants to fight institutions, and he's very much positioned himself as an outsider. And we've already talked a lot about this. Like, that posture is going to be what's really successful. Frankly, that is the posture that helped Donald Trump win, right? Like, despite how ridiculous it is that he makes himself out to be that way. But like, but Graham Plattner was an untested candidate. And there's sort of a reason why it's good to run people who have run before, because it means maybe the skeletons have gotten out of the closet. And so during this campaign, we have learned a number of skeletons about Graham Plattner. And, Maine voters have seemingly disregarded it. There has not been like a huge backlash against him. There's obviously tons of conversations on Twitter. Those are different than conversations on Instagram and different than conversations in Maine. The newest scandal is interesting, which is, so he's been married to his wife, Amy, since 2023, I think. Mm-hmm. And it was revealed that in 2024, he had...
No, 2025. This was 2025, spring of 2025.
God, okay, a year ago.
Yeah.
He exchanged messages with a number of women and had an account on something called Kik, which I had to Google, which is like an anonymous messaging app that people use to send sex messages, conceivably. He had a picture of himself with a towel wrapped around his waist and nothing on top. And seemingly texted between 6 and 12 women, which is a lot. And then there's a scandal about how this information has come to light. And now his wife has made a number of lengthy posts, which frankly make me so profoundly uncomfortable. I've really struggled to watch them.
Well, okay. And so he's sexting all these girls back in spring of 2025, which conceivably is when he's gearing up to announce his Senate run. Like, this is not that long ago, right?
Yeah, hopefully women, not girls. But
yes, please. Well, I mean,
God.
This is my whole like worry about all of this, is because there was the tattoo thing a while ago, and people scrubbed his socials from earlier where he said stuff that is not politically correct. But we do have to have some sort of leeway if we're going to run these candidates who have not been in politics their whole lives.
Right.
But,
so the question, like, there's questions on like the substance of the matter of all of these different things, and then there's the question about like judgment. And I think one of the problems I have seen is like, sure, he had questionable judgment, seemingly not 20 years ago, but a year ago. And then he has said in a bunch of interviews, oh, there's nothing left. Those are lies. And then as this has come out, he sort of accused the press of lying when seemingly they're not lying. This is true. This has happened. His wife has been like, we're in marriage counseling. He's in counseling. I'm in counseling. Marriage is hard. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. This is a lot.
It's not that hard like the first 3 years.
I think, fundamentally, most normal people I know, their posture on this race is beating Susan Collins is necessary because the Republicans are an existential threat to democracy. And so, like, we have to get this guy. I would say, like, my question is, like, why do these men who can't keep their dick in their pants have to keep being our candidate? Why?
That's a great question.
And part of it, I think, is that as voters, we are really attracted to like extreme confidence and charisma. And that is associated with a personality, this type of man who can't fucking stop himself from dicking around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and everybody's like, but he's so good. He's such a good communicator. He's so charismatic. It's like, yeah, you know who else is? Like narcissists who sleep with everybody. You know what I mean?
Right. I feel very uncomfortable about the whole thing. I'm very concerned. I don't think that Maine voters are sort of moralistic, right? Like, I don't think that they are going to be against him merely because he is, I don't know, is messaging women cheating on your wife. I guess that's a whole other conversation to have. But I think having an account on Kik is weird. Why do you have like this very hard to access messaging app that you only use when you want to be totally anonymous? Like, what was he doing? Beyond that, like I think for me it's opened up a lot of questions, but
what was in the messages that was so bad that his wife brought it to a campaign staffer at the time? So like, though that hasn't been revealed yet, every new thing that comes out with him, I just get this sinking feeling that it's still the tip of the iceberg, which is what makes me really nervous. And it's like, how do we as Democrats sit here and point to like Trump's behavior and everybody in the Epstein files and call that out, and then like just look the other way with stuff like this?
Right. I don't like it when people cheat on their wives. You know what I mean? I just want to like go on record saying that. It's not like I actually like think it's okay to be like, that's not something I respect in someone. And I think that marriage isn't so hard that you can't keep it in your pants for a couple of years.
Yeah. And I mean, it comes back to the Swalwell thing too, right? It's like if you're cheating on your wife constantly.
TBH. I'm having flashbacks, TBH.
I know. I mean, if you're cheating on your wife constantly, at the very base level, you're lying constantly. You know, so like I don't really want a chronic liar as one of like the politicians at the highest level of our government.
I know. And the problem is like he's going to be the candidate. And we need to be Susan Collins. So now it's like there's this culture of silence that Democrats we're just supposed to like hold our mouths. And I think it's really interesting that there's been, you know, like he's a progressive candidate and we're all supposed to not say what we don't like about him.
Like the very progressive people have been loving him. Right. And it's like, guys.
And it's so funny because when, Abigail Spanberger, there's this huge online conundrum right now happening because she vetoed a bill about union organizing. And the reason she says she vetoed it was because a bunch of mayors object to it. And she had submitted amendments to the legislature, which they didn't take. And she wanted to like continue negotiating because she has these other stakeholders who are upset. And the left has sort of been like, she's a turncoat. She's not one of us. We hate her. And it's like, well, she's a sitting Democratic governor in a purple state, like who signed a lot of really important bills. She's not like evil, but they're like, we are so scarred by Sinema, Manchin, and Fetterman, which I want to talk about, but like that we are just worried about turncoats. And I have to be honest. I'm like, I think we know what we're going to get with Abigail Spanberger. Like, I'm not worried about that. But with Graham Plattner, like, actually, this screams Fetterman to me.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean?
Who, by the way, I haven't watched it yet or watched the clips, but Fetterman just went on the Katie Miller podcast.
I know. I flip-flop
like he's
on
just
Fetterman
out of control.
Being like, that man had a stroke. We shouldn't take it. Like, none of this is real. But like, he should step down then.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, well, I share the same concern over Plattner because it's like they run on being these almost rebels that don't need to listen to the party or the institutions, right. But then that can go actually too far. That's like, okay, now you're way out there. Like, what is going on?
Right. No, actually listen to us.
Like, I don't know if I can trust. Well, we certainly can't trust Fetterman, and like I'm there feeling very weird about trusting Plattner. Again, I'm not a Maine voter, so it's not my thing. But
I think he's definitely going to win the primary. He's going to be the candidate. To win the general, he cannot just have progressive voters, right? Like he is going to have to win over moderate voters, and maybe he can do that from policy. He put out this lengthy video today, being like, the media wants to talk about my personal life. They don't want to talk about policy, and I don't think that's true.
No, and it's gaslighting.
Yeah, it's gaslighting. Like I think in politics, your judgment is relevant, and it's ridiculous to claim that it's not. That like, oh yeah, sorry, we just want to talk about your Nazi tattoo. Well, you should have covered it up. Or when you were caught and you went on the Pod Save podcast to admit it, you should have shown up and had it already covered. You know what I mean? And have some form of humility and be willingness to say like, mistakes are bad. I will acknowledge and change them. Versus what we've seen from him, which is like he digs in and claims it's not a problem. I don't know. Maybe I'm just triggered.
No, I am triggered too. We're all triggered, and like nothing pisses me off more than that of somebody saying like, "Oh, your concerns are just fake. Let's just talk about the real issues." It's like, well, yeah. I mean, we can talk all day about the way the stuff came to light, but the fact of the matter is, like, it is concerning. So,
right. They are trying to turn this into a process issue about like blaming how the information got out, and I'm like, I don't really care. I want to know, who was he texting? What was he doing? What was he saying? Why was he on this weird messaging app?
That's why I'm saying, I mean, there was a screenshot that was circulating on Twitter on Saturday morning that like looks like a screenshot from the article. So at first I thought it was real.
From the Wall Street Journal.
Yes. And I was like, so immediately I was like, oh my God, it was very bad. Like if that would have, but my misinfo like antenna went up because I'm like, if that was in the article, that would have been the headline. So like,
right. Correct.
So that was not it. But I am like, we don't know what was in them yet. We don't know the full extent of it. I'm just concerned that, oh my God, don't you love that prequel stuff?
I love prequel.
It
sponsor
is the
us. Sponsor
best.
the pod. We love you, prequel.
Literally, I'm obsessed.
Blush. It's like minty. And it's SPF 30. I'm trying to wear SPF more.
Yeah, it's the best. But yeah, it's just...
So yeah, it was really bad. And I will say part of all of these problems is like misinformation runs so far online. Someone was pointing out, talking about politicians having sex scandals. The JD Vance fucking a couch sex scandal was started by someone to prove a point that you could start a rumor from nothing. And was like, what if I just say that in Hillbilly Elegy, he admits to fucking a couch? Which then like, it was like, it's on page whatever. And then instead of everyone going to page whatever and being like, no, it's not, Evan was like, LOL. Everyone was like, we want to participate in this narrative and we're going to perpetuate it just to prove, and like he was proved right. And so it is, part of this is like, what legs do these narratives have in a world in which there's so many fake ones? And I think this is going to increasingly become a problem.
It is, and it's already a big problem, and it's really hard for people to get real information when all of this misinformation is out there. It's going to be like, one of the toughest things with these next few elections, both the midterms and 2028, like knowing what is real and what is not is like...
Yeah, I'm like so worried about 2028. Don't even get me started. Okay, can we talk about Patagonia?
We can. Okay, so I'm going to just say what I know, and then I need your lawyer... take on this because so Patagonia is a drag queen, an activist who's built a really big following online for climate advocacy, LGBTQ rights, things like that. Yeah. I think most people know who are familiar with Patagonia that it's not that they're not related to Patagonia the brand.
Yeah, but clearly it's a play on Patagonia the brand.
Of course, yes. Yeah. So Patagonia has now decided to sue. For like trademark infringement.
Yes. For
and
$1.
I want to hear your take on this because the conversation on Instagram is so different than like the conversation on Threads.
Well, you know, I'm not on Threads. Threads makes me want to kill myself. So I have to delete that app from my phone.
Okay.
But so trademark law requires enforcement. To like maintain a trademark, you have to be willing to enforce the boundaries of your trademark. And that's the fundamental legal crux of the issue. And Patagonia, the corporation, has enforced their trademark on a variety of different types of things, right? Like, I don't know. Like, it could be beer, it could be something pro-life, it could be pro-climate, right? Like, the fact that they do or do not agree with Patty is somewhat irrelevant to the underlying legal issue. And what Patty has done is sort of made this into a bit of a grift. And there was a little bit of a détente between them before, but Patagonia had been like, just don't sell merch with our, like something that is clearly trademark infringement, right? Like, don't push us too far. We'll sort of like let stuff lie. And Patagonia then was like, actually, I'm going to sell merch. And Patagonia, the company, legally doesn't really have a choice. To maintain their trademark, they have to sue. So they sue for $1, so they get the legal issue. And you know, trademark is a good thing, right? Like, we want people to be able to enforce their trademarks. Like, especially what I've seen circulating a lot on TikTok is this idea, like, if you're anti-AI because you think that AI steals artists' work, trademark law and copyright law is how people are enforcing their creative, like, ownership. And so if you completely get rid of this area of law and say, like, it doesn't matter anymore, people should be able to use everything the way they want, like, you are perpetuating into that narrative. And you want there to be copyright and trademarks.
I think, and the reason that they're suing for that, and there was like a big Nike case I remember learning about like in college too, is you can't make it so that regular consumers assume that you are associated with the brand, that they assume that that's like a Patagonia collaboration. You just can't do that. The other like devil's advocate thing I'll say though is people are like, well, Patagonia just trademarked a freaking country, which is like, yeah.
You know, and I think that the other thing is people are like, it's a parody. And that is how lawyers earn their money, right? Which is
as
like,
a defense for Patty or against?
For Patty.
Okay.
That Patty, it's like a you should be able to do you legally are able to do a parody of something, right?
You are?
Yes, but I think that it's when it gets into the sale of merch is where it starts getting complicated, is my understanding. This is not legal advice. But, I think that part of my problem with this whole thing is Patty has, and I've started to see increasingly people post, who are influencers, post about bringing lawsuits as a way to like making content about it and building support from their audience. And people love to be part of armies and they love to be part of big fights. And the lawsuits I hear about are often like totally frivolous. I'm like, this isn't a real thing. You will eventually lose this, but the audiences really love it and people are able to build, followings over it.
Yeah. So I think we'll see what happens and what plays out there. But what people need to remember is that lawsuits and the law is about words on a page and not just whatever morally we feel is right or wrong. So
I'm checking now to see how many. I have to log in. Hold on.
And now people are, of course, getting pissed at Patagonia, the brand, which as far as big brands go, they're not perfect, but they're definitely not the worst. Wait,
right.
What are you looking for?
So I'm looking up to see Patty has gained 153,000 followers in the last 30 days. 145,000 of those are in the last 14 days.
Wow.
On IG.
See, and this goes back to the whole Alex I and Alex E thing. Like, no press is bad press.
Right.
If you're trying to build an audience and build a brand and make money.
Right. That's right.
Or get elected.
Well, maybe with being elected, there is some press that is bad press.
Right, Graham? Okay. Well, appreciate your take on that because, the internet is quite divided on the Patagonia versus Pattigonia.
So, Kate, I see here have some unlikely recession indicators that you'd like to share.
Yeah, I thought we could bounce some back and forth.
Okay, you tell me. I don't know. What are
your
ideas here?
I'm in some gardening groups on Facebook. I just love to, get ideas and see what people are doing and stuff. And I've seen, gardening is usually sort of my escape, but I've seen a lot of people posting that they couldn't even afford to buy annuals this year because the cost of annuals has skyrocketed. So people are just trying to divide their perennials more and do what they can and just live with less color in the gardens.
People have to start learning how to force their own annuals, I guess. Can you grow your own annuals?
You can, but
presumably someone's growing them somewhere.
In Wisconsin, you would have to start them in a greenhouse with the lights and everything. Not everybody has time for that. So I do this too. So I have tons of perennials. Those are the ones that just come back every year and they're the foundation of the garden. But I like to stick annuals like different pansies or sun patience or whatever throughout the garden for some pops of color. And I did go to the garden center the other day and they're usually really pretty cheap.
Yeah. I have noticed,
but they're like
things that were like $3.99 are now $8.99.
Yes, much more expensive for just like a few, and you have to get kind of a bunch of the annuals if you want a bed that has like a bunch of crawling pink flowers, you got to get like 20 of them, and then they kind of grow together.
Right.
But the cost has definitely gone up, and so people are not going to have colorful gardens this year because the costs are going up.
Yeah. Half my hostas didn't even come up this year, so I don't even know what's happening.
What?
I know.
That is not good.
That's not good.
Those things are indestructible.
I know. I'm like, what is happening here?
Oh my
Climate change. We had that massive freeze in DC, and I think a lot of my plants were killed.
Wow. Yeah, if the hostas didn't come up this year, they're done.
I know.
Wow. Congratulations on killing hostas. I actually didn't know it was possible. I throw some on the side part of my yard, like when I take them out, and I'm like, I got to take those like to the dump or whatever. And they still continue to flourish, like literally out of the dirt laying by the side of my house.
Yeah. Thank you for this attack, Kate. That's been really nice.
Well, I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm just saying.
It is my fault.
Something's going on.
It's climate change fault. Yeah, no, especially sort of like the light green hostas that I had sort of sprinkled about for bright pops of color. None of those come up.
I feel like the more beautiful ones are definitely a bit more delicate.
But I had some of those jumbo silver ones. I think there's only one that came up. So pretty sad about that. But I am growing 2 tomato plants this year that I purchased at Home Depot for $15 each. And I am hoping
that seems expensive.
Yeah. And I'm like, I better get more than $15 worth of tomatoes from these plants.
Well, yeah, this is why I do some minor vegetable gardening, but I don't really go all in because it's like, I could just go to the store.
Yeah, but the thing about tomatoes is like, a fresh tomato, like right off the vine is so good.
So good.
And hard to find these days, especially, this farmer's market will come. You can get one on the weekend, but then you're not getting one on Thursday.
Also, if you've ever grown your own strawberries, it is insane to taste a strawberry right off the vine.
I also have a strawberry plant. I will say the strawberry plants were exceptionally expensive this year.
Really?
Yeah. And I couldn't
because those are usually pretty cheap, like ground cover too.
And I couldn't find them at the garden center. I had to buy one at Home Depot.
My God, what else is really expensive that you've noticed?
I mean, construction supplies, crazy expensive.
Yeah,
that's nothing new,
right? That's really been since like 2020. Gas is still really up there.
I was thinking, I remember when gas was 91 cents a gallon, and I've always sort of said to myself, like, LOL, that like that's the type of thing I would say at one point. You know what I mean? Like that's some old crotchety thing. And I was like, oh no. I now have reconsidered. I love to drive around. I love driving. It's my favorite activity. You make fun of me because every time I call you, you're like, where are you driving, Emily? Because I'm always fucking going somewhere. And I am not doing it anymore. Like I am not just going on day drives for the sake of day drives anymore because gas is that expensive.
Well, and I think, we see the numbers on the signs and it's like, oh, well, I got to get gas. I guess I'm paying like $4.70 for it. But then when somebody says like $5 a gallon, if you literally visualize a gallon of milk and gasoline in that, and that most cars need like what, 10, at least 10 or 15.
My car is 16-gallon tank.
And just a gallon is $5. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, no, it is so expensive to fill up the tank now. And I'm like, where am I going? What am I doing? And now I think about it when I'm like, oh, the price of groceries, because I like to go out to an Asian supermarket, for example, that's a 30-minute drive away. Or like, I really like to go to an Indian supermarket that's an hour drive away. And I'm like, well, those cost savings that I get by going to those markets is not really worth it when you price in the cost of gas.
Yeah, I know. So also, who's going to be even going on road trips this summer, which like for families is supposed to be the more accessible, affordable option. Okay. And the thing I wanted to talk to you about with the whole like affordability messaging that everybody's trying to crack, that just is more relatable than just like this politician cut Medicaid and yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. I want to ask you about something because I asked my husband, he didn't know what I was talking about because all our algorithms are different. You see the 90s summer all over your algorithm, right? Yeah, yes. Like romanticizing a 90s summer, all of that. My whole theory is like, I feel like we should be talking to those women in that sense of like, that wasn't just magic, like that was math. We can't even have a 90s summer anymore because like simplicity has become a luxury. Like
tell me more.
When we were kids and like growing up, if it was like really hot out and like my mom didn't want to cook, somebody would just say like, can we just go to Culver's? And parents used to be able to be like, you know what? Why not? Yeah, let's go. And now you go to Culver's and it's like over $50 just for the family. Like everything costs so much money. Going to the Dells we used to do because like it was too expensive to fly places. And now going to the Dells is like a $3,000 thing for a family.
I was just looking for a week-long rental in Maine for like my summer vacation. And they're like multiple $1,000s to just get like a cabin for a week. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Like we can't even have, and a lot of people can't even have a 90s summer watching their kids run through the sprinklers because they're working 2 jobs, and it's like, and the whole 90s summer is like in the backyard, with the hose and whatever. So many people with young children these days cannot even afford their own home. So 90s summer is gone with what the GOP has done in terms of killing everybody's financial situation.
I'm thinking about it.
I know. I feel like there's like something there.
There's something there. I mean, I have like really complicated feelings about 90s summer because I think in a lot of ways it's really valid, right? Like every single summer, what people want is less social media, less attention economy, less noise, right? Like fundamentally, that's what people are trying to like capture in this idea of like feeling more free. And I think part of the economic sort of like turn is no one feels free right now. We feel very, very captured by corporations, right? And we feel that we're sort of like on this hamster wheel of never ending. And the algo is part of that, right? Like the algo is corporations. And my TikTok is 50% sales at this point. And I feel like I'm in like a sci-fi movie. I can't remember what it was, but I saw some sci-fi movie over the weekend. And it's like everything is constant. Oh, no. It was, I read a book called Hum. And in this book, there's these humanoid robots that are like around doing everything, and they are constantly trying to upsell you something. So if they're having a conversation with you, they'll be like, your skin doesn't look great. How about this moisturizer? right? And it's like the clerk at the CVS is saying that to you also. So they're giving you like specialized advertisements at all times and constant. And to stop the ads, like to have a conversation, you know, there's a hum from CPS coming to do an investigation on the house, and you have to pay for 15 minutes of ad-free time to be able to have a ad-free conversation with the CPS hum. And you know, sometimes I feel like I'm consuming TikTok and I'm like, I just feel like I'm living in this farcical sci-fi fantasy where everything is just selling to me and my eyeballs are just vehicles to be monetized. And it's not enjoyable. Like I'm not having fun.
No. And it is this whole class war thing, and the corporations and the billionaires are winning. And this isn't Democrat or Republican. Like, unless you own a massive corporation or have a super yacht, you're here with the rest of us, not being able to go on a summer road trip. So
I went to Spa World this weekend, which is a Korean spa. Here's my recession indicator. The price of a scrub is now $100 to get a 30-minute scrub at the Korean spa. That is, I swear to God, it used to be $55. And I like to get a scrub twice a year. I do a winter scrub and a summer scrub. You know,
do they scrub your whole body?
They scrub your whole body. You sit in the pool for a couple hours, you get your skin real ready for it, and then they scrub off like the top couple layers of skin.
Oh my God, that sounds great.
You're fresh as a baby's bottom. Ugh, it's wonderful. It's delightful.
But you're paying $100 a pop.
Yeah, for 30 minutes.
Yeah, I'll have to think of more things. I just thought that was so interesting. Like in my gardening groups now, it's coming. It's like just everywhere. People are like, everything is expensive. I can't afford shit.
Well, listeners, all 7 of you, tell us if you have any unexpected recession indicators.
Yes, I feel like this could be a really good topic to explore further. So, nostalgic listening is trending as far as Google searches. It's time to get back to physical music gadgets. This year, wired headphones and portable cassette players reached new highs for search. Portable cassette player reached an all-time high over the past 30 days. How to use MP3 player? People are searching again. MP3 player with Bluetooth. And then search interest in secondhand iPod broke out over the past week, and iPod is the top trending secondhand item, while Gen Z is the top trending topic searched within iPod.
And I guess it's sort of like how millennials got really into records. You're always
I think nostalgia is always going to be like a trend. But I think the simplicity, even now with like all of this technology, it's even more so. Like my 14-year-old stepson, they're all very into hacky sack again.
Oh, that's so cute.
I know. They like actually want to put down their devices and just like do stuff like that again. Because I think all these kids are like, you know, I moderated a panel the other week about like youth mental health. And it was like 3 very successful adults who work in the field. And then we also had a high schooler on the panel. And one thing I asked him, I'm like, what do you want people to know about youth struggling with mental health that you think adults don't realize? And he was saying, I think people don't realize what texting culture is when you're young right now. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, the texting culture is that you have to be on call and respond immediately, or people get so mad at you and then you are like on bad terms with everybody and people talk bad about you. Like if you're not responding to a text or in the group chat, like literally within 5 minutes, then you can like lose friends. And I'm like, that is crazy. So you guys are already living in like Outlook culture as high schoolers, and people will like spiral if you don't respond to their message in a very timely manner. I also feel
like this is like a very insecure attachment generation, right? Like the reason people are spiraling because they're like, oh, you're mad at me, you don't like me, you know, and so then you have to, because you don't have the emotional resilience to sustain that feeling, they've created this culture of shaming that behavior because no one wants it. And it's destructive. That sounds terrible.
It's so destructive. And we all as adults sort of have to live like that, where people can contact us all the time and we always feel like we need to respond. And some of us are better at than others. Like I'm terrible. But it's just too much for kids these days to grow up already with like everybody being able to access them all the time. It's not good.
They have, you know, and I know a lot of parents are getting their kids Apple Watches really young because they don't want their kids to have phones. And you can do an Apple Watch and still be able to text them and track them, but they don't have access to the internet on it, which seems great, but I'm like, ugh, seeing these kids constantly looking at their watches, it gives me agita. I was listening to a podcast recently, an episode of The Daily, I think, from the New York Times with the woman who does the Happiness Project. And she said something that has sent me spiraling a little bit. And by that, I mean I brought it up in 17 conversations.
Oh, God.
A growing body of research indicates that a significant portion of Gen Alpha and younger tweens may experience aspects of their first romantic or intimate relationship with an AI. And this was part of a broader conversation that she was having about like how you achieve happiness has to involve friction, right? That when things are too easy, you do not attain happiness from them. And happiness is largely about interpersonal relationships. Like no amount of widgets that you own will make you happy unless you have people to share that with. And like, I think we all know that from our lives, and like that has been borne out. And we all know like miserable rich people. It's not what it is. And one of the things she was talking about is how for young people who have been really severely impacted by COVID and the social changes that COVID has created, that they aren't able to withstand the friction. And the person who was doing the interview was like, I experienced this in my own life, that like the friction of social relationships is harder after COVID. I'm not used to it. And for these tweens, you know, there is an opportunity to access a frictionless social relationship, and that is with AI. And what is it going to do to their romantic futures when they lack the ability to build romantic connections, right? Like, and we're already seeing this. I hear a lot about Gen Z and like they're scared to ask each other out, and sort of they blame me too, but I think that's a little bit of a cudgel. Like, well, don't be rapey. I've asked many people out in my life, and you know, it's been perfectly fine. I also lack the thing that other people have, where I feel friction in social interactions.
Yeah,
but I think that like I don't know. It's very concerning to me.
it is concerning, and it's like we have to figure out how to make it work. And there's been stories of like with mental health too, you know, teens and young people going to AI, and it's sometimes with catastrophic outcomes. Right. But okay, so
but it can also be helpful.
Totally.
Right, like
and that's the thing too that came up in our panel. Like technology is vilified a lot by older generations, but there are a lot of good things that come with it.
I use ChatGPT to ask health questions, and I'm sure that the people in the audience will yell at me because a lot of liberals are anti-AI purists. But like when I am spiraling and it's 2 a.m. and my blood pressure is at 173, I'm not going to be able to get a doctor on the phone. I want to be able to ask someone, and I can ask ChatGPT. You know what I mean? What do I do? And it does help.
It seems better than my chart sometimes, depending on who your doctor's office is. But
I'm convinced my doctor has an AI responding to me.
They probably do. I'm surprised they probably do at this point.
I think so. Yeah. Anyhow, continue. You were going to say something?
Well, I found the Google email that I got a few weeks ago about, on this topic, Gen Alpha, Gen Z breakout slang. I was dying reading this because it may as well be in a different language. So first of all, with these youngins, the top trends, Dragon Ball Super is the top trending trailer in the past week. Never seen it.
I've heard of Dragon Ball.
Puerto Rican singer Omar Quartz is the top trending artist. Of course, like, again, my stepkids, they're 14 and 17. They're going to some show at Summerfest. I'm like, who? I don't even know anything
Rodrigo?
they're talking about. No, I know her. That's like...
I know. Olivia Rodrigo's old now. She's got to be like, what, 27 at this point? She's not a young one anymore.
I know. Search interest in WrestleMania is at an all-time high. Okay, so Gen Alpha. Sensory
she's
toys...
23. Sorry, guys.
She is?
Yeah.
Well, in Hollywood, that's like 33. Sensory toys and gaming have Gen Alpha ecosystem allusions to Roblox and NPCs in a day-to-day lingo. Okay, Mini Boss. These are search terms, remember, Google search terms. Mini Boss is at an all-time high, and Level Impossible hit a 5-year high in 2026. I don't really know what a Mini Boss is, but I'm going to ask my stepkids about some of these. Search interest in Needoh, Needoh, broke out in the past month and was searched over 10 times more than Play-Doh and Stress Ball. I think there's these little...
These are all video game stuff. A mini boss is a mini version of a main boss. That seems self-evident. Originating in video games, it refers to a distinct challenging enemy encountered during a level that is stronger than a standard enemy, but weaker than the final end-of-level boss.
Okay, so Google Needoh and squishies, because those are big with Gen Alpha.
I know what squishies are. Stuffed animals.
No. I think they're these like squishy things.
Needoh squishy toy. It's like a little, it's a squishy toy. You're right. It's like jelly.
Okay, I mean, we had those as kids too. Remember the
we had these.
jelly tube that had a hole in the middle and you could like squeeze it? Yeah, it was a little phallic. Yeah. I feel like looking back.
I was sitting here, I was like, is it phallic or vaginal? Or is it both?
Oh. Yeah, let's hope those don't come back.
The one true unigod.
Grow a garden is the top trending search relating to garden in the past year.
Turns out
it's for the Roblox game.
Why?
I know, because
this video game.
My stepson loves playing this like garden video game, and I'm like out here in the gardens, and I'm like, you could come help me. I'll pay you. It's a real garden. Okay, so moving on to Gen Z, much older and more sophisticated.
Yeah.
Gen Z eyeliner was a breakout search in the past month, and brown eyeliner is the top trending color. So can you please search Gen Z eyeliner?
Yeah, I will. I use brown eyeliner. I use the Makeup Forever brown eyeliner, the like aqua liner. I highly recommend it, guys. Gen Z eyeliner prioritizes soft definition, strategic smudging, and individuality. I think it's a sort of millennial cringe is trending right now on TikTok, and I think that they are also reacting to our like liquid winged liner. They don't want to be us. They hate us. We're so
That's fine. I can't even wear eyeliner lately because my eyes are just like watering constantly. I do think I need any elder millennial listening to hear me. I'm saying this with love. You've got to stop putting eyeliner on the bottom. You got to stop. You've got to stop. It looks so bad.
I would say, but I think that it is okay for some people to put a little on the waterline, your lower waterline.
On the waterline, sure, if your eyes can take it. But I'm talking, I see elder millennial women all the time who do the full black liner here and underneath, and they just look, it's not the look, ladies. And I'm not going to shame you for any other things. Wear your jean jackets, wear your skinny jeans, whatever you want. Let's stop the bottom liner, okay?
So I would like to say this. I think we do need to start having a health-o-meter for this podcast, which is, can two middle-aged women have a podcast where they talk about health ailments less than 3 times? And if we succeed on any episode, I think we get gold stars.
Okay.
We're at 2 at this time. We're probably at more.
Okay, 2 more things. Okay.
I don't skinny jeans. I gotta be honest.
Oh, I've never liked skinny jeans because I have American Girl doll legs.
You do.
So, like, I've always felt suffocated in skinny jeans. I'm very happy that, like, the wide leg and the barrel leg are back. I'm never going back again.
Barrel legs back. When I think this is, were barrel legs ever in before? I feel like barrel legs
like the cowboys in the 1800s, maybe.
You're the only person I think barrel legs looks good on. But I think skinny jeans are good under a boot. This weekend I was discussing ankle boots with a dress, particularly a work dress, and how I think that is horrific and there's no style justification to wear an ankle boot with a dress. How do you feel?
Yeah, unless you're like at a country concert and they're like cowboy boots.
Those are definitionally cowboy boots, not ankle boots. We all know what an ankle boot is. An ankle boot is meant to be worn under a slack.
Oh, no, to be honest, I'm really struggling with like what footwear to wear that isn't like a tennis shoe or sandals.
Well, I mean, I love a Rothy's.
Or heels.
I love a Rothy's. I love an espadrille. I love a stacked heel, a platform.
Yeah, you do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they give me some height because I am very short, but your foot, you don't have to put all the pressure on your ball.
Yeah. Okay.
Search
interest in Gen Z pout broke out in the last month. There's a new like look we're doing. You know how millennials all do like
old news. We did duck lips,
but now they're doing like something with their upper lip.
Yeah. They're doing a little bit more of a smell the fart type of look.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, all of this was just frame mogging, ganger, LARPing. I don't know what any of this stuff
mogging is.
What?
You know what mogging is, right?
Frame mogging?
Yeah. It's a looksmaxxing term.
No, I don't know any of this shit.
Showing up, frame mogging means like showing up and being out handsoming someone. So this was most salient recently because Clavicular was frame mogged by the judge in his case.
Is that the guy who OD'd when he was live streaming?
I actually cannot keep track of all of Clavicular's many problems. That man is profoundly unwell. And
who is that?
Clavicular? I think his real name is like Braden or Aiden or something like profoundly Gen Z. But he is this young man who has become famous for looksmaxxing, being a looksmaxxing influencer, which is like incel guys trying to make themselves the most handsome as possible because they think that is how they succeed in society. And from a feminist perspective, this is all very interesting because like obviously women, we live under these like intense beauty standards, and largely it's been men in the gay community who have had to likewise engage in this sort of behavior, which I think a lot can be said about the distinction of being under the male gaze to have that overlap. But now these young men involved in looksmaxxing, and it's a break off of the incel community, most definitely. They feel that like nothing is more important than being their version of handsome. And they have like particulars, right? Like your face has to have certain measurements and lines and da-da-da-da-da-da. It's all crazy town. And so Clavicular has been like he like slams his head to get a bigger jaw. I don't know. He does crazy things. The man is unwell.
Oh my God. Like, if men would just start looks-minning, that would be fine.
Yeah, like what women want is personality maxing, not looks maxing. But
personality maxing. Try reading a book.
Read a fucking
every now
book.
and then.
You know what I mean?
I mean, that'll get you very far with the
Ask
women.
A question,
if you can,
maybe. But there's actually a clip where someone asks him, like, do you care if you make a woman orgasm or not? He's like, no, I don't care. That doesn't help me. So it's like looks maxing isn't really about getting women as people to be with them, right? Like women are merely like status objects that one acquires in the pursuit of greater social standing.
So like never mind our worry about young kids having their first romantic relationship with an AI. Now they're going to have their first romantic relationship with themselves in a mirror. They don't even care about what anybody else thinks. We've gone too far. Yeah, looksmaxxing was in here too. Looksmaxxing.
On that note, Kate, it's been an hour. Always a pleasure to spend an hour with you.
Okay. I'm going to sign off with another Gen Z slang.
Tell me.
Well, it was really nice talking to you, and you the birthday.
You the birthday.
Do you know what that means?
No.
Main character energy. I think I got to work on the implementation of that. It sounded a little chuggy.
Ugh, we're chugs. Okay, chug you later.
Bye.